Imagine this for a second. It's 2 a.m. You wake up and smell smoke. You walk into the hallway and realize your house is on fire. Flames are climbing the walls. The kitchen is burning. Smoke is filling the rooms. But instead of grabbing water, instead of calling for help, you walk outside, sit on the lawn, and start planting flowers in the garden. Sounds ridiculous, right? No normal person would ever do that. But financially, millions of people are doing exactly this every single day. They're investing in stocks. They're buying crypto. They're dreaming about real estate and passive income. But inside their financial life, fires are quietly burning everywhere. And the dangerous part? Most people don't even realize it. But before we start, quick note. Hello, my name is Marsh and I'm not a financial advisor. This video is purely for educational purposes only. Always consult a qualified professional before making any major financial decisions. Now, according to a 2023 Bankrate survey, about 58% of Americans cannot cover a $900 emergency using their savings. Think about that for a second. More than half of people would struggle if their car suddenly broke down, or if a medical bill appeared tomorrow. Yet many of those same people are putting money into investments hoping to build wealth. Now, investing is not bad. In fact, investing is incredibly powerful. But investing while your financial house is on fire is like trying to build a beautiful rooftop while the basement is flooding. Sooner or later, the whole structure becomes unstable. And this is why so many people feel frustrated with money. They're doing what everyone online tells them to do. Buy stocks. Start investing early. Build passive income. But somehow, they still feel stressed, fragile, and one bad event away from financial disaster. Here's the truth that most people never hear clearly. Building wealth isn't just about investing. It's about solving problems in the right order. Think of your financial life like a house. Before decorating it, before upgrading it, before trying to grow money, you must first walk through the house and put out the fires that could destroy everything. Because if those fires stay burning, every dollar you invest becomes vulnerable. A job loss, a medical emergency, a broken car, and suddenly years of progress disappear overnight. In this video, we're going to walk through a very simple but powerful way to think about money. Instead of jumping straight into investing, we'll move step by step through the most common financial problems people face, in the smartest order to solve them. Each step removes one major financial fire that quietly destroys people's stability. And once those fires are under control, that's when building wealth finally becomes powerful and sustainable. Now let's start with the first and most dangerous financial fire, the one that quietly traps millions of people without them even realizing it. And if this fire exists in your life, investing should not be your first move. Now imagine something very simple. Your car suddenly stops working. You take it to the mechanic, and he says the repair will cost $1,100. Nothing crazy. Just a normal life problem. But here's the question that quietly decides whether someone feels calm or completely stressed. Do you already have the money ready? For millions of people, the answer is no. And that's where the first financial fire begins. It's the moment when life throws a small problem at you, but financially it feels like a disaster. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 5 out of 10 Americans would struggle to pay an unexpected $500 expense without borrowing money or selling something. Think about that. A simple car repair, a small medical bill, a broken phone, and suddenly people are swiping credit cards, borrowing from friends, or stressing about how to survive the next few weeks. This situation is what we can call the survival stage of money. Not because people are irresponsible, but because they don't have a financial cushion yet. And without that cushion, every small problem feels like a fire spreading through the house. Imagine a boy named Jake. Jake loves riding his bicycle to school every day. One morning, the tire suddenly pops. If Jake has a small box where he saved some money, he calmly buys a new tire and keeps riding. Problem solved. But if Jake has no savings at all, Suddenly everything becomes stressful. Now he has to borrow money from his parents, or stop riding his bike completely. The problem itself didn't change. The only difference was preparation. And adults face the exact same situation, just with bigger numbers. A flat tire, a medical bill, a broken refrigerator, a surprise vet visit for the dog. These things are not rare. They are normal parts of life. But when someone doesn't have even a small emergency fund, these normal events start a chain reaction of financial stress. This is also why many people get stuck in cycles like this. Emergency happens, credit card use, debt grows, stress increases. And here's the ironic part. Some people in this situation are still trying to invest money. They buy stocks hoping to grow their wealth, while one unexpected bill could force them to sell everything. That's like building a treehouse, while the ground underneath is shaking. The real goal at this stage isn't investing. It's stability. A small safety net. Something that quietly protects you from life's normal surprises. Even starting with $1,200 saved for emergencies can dramatically change how someone experiences money. Suddenly problems feel manageable instead of terrifying. And once this first fire is under control, only then does it make sense to look at the next financial fire. And this next one is dangerous because it slowly eats money every single month, even while people think they're moving forward. Now imagine something strange. Every month you work hard. You earn money. You try to move forward. But somehow, a big part of your paycheck disappears before you even enjoy it. Not because you bought something new. Not because you invested it. But because of something that happened months or even years ago. This is the second financial fire. And for many people, it burns quietly in the background for decades. Debt. Now, not all debt is automatically bad. But high-interest debt, especially credit card debt, can slowly destroy someone's financial progress. Here's why. According to the Federal Reserve, the average credit card interest rate in the United States is often around 20% or even higher. That means if someone owes $5,000 on a credit card, interest alone could cost them about $1,000 every year if they don't pay it down quickly. Think about that. $1,000 disappearing every year without buying anything new. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water while there's a huge hole at the bottom. No matter how much water you pour in, the bucket never fills. Imagine a kid named Lucas. Lucas borrowed 10 cookies from his friend. But his friend says, "For every week you take to return them, you must give me 2 extra cookies." So if Lucas waits too long, suddenly he doesn't owe 10 cookies anymore. He owes 12, then 14, then 16. And the longer he waits, the more cookies disappear from his lunchbox. This is exactly how high-interest debt behaves. Except instead of cookies, it's your paycheck. Every month interest quietly takes a bite. And here's the emotional side people rarely talk about. People living in this stage often feel like they're running on a treadmill. They're working hard, paying bills, trying to be responsible. But the debt keeps pulling them backward. This creates stress, frustration, and sometimes even shame. And when people feel overwhelmed like this, they often make a common mistake. They ignore the fire and try to jump ahead. They start investing small amounts of money hoping their investments will grow faster than their debt. But if your credit card charges 20% interest, and your investments grow 7 to 10% on average, the math becomes brutally simple. The fire is burning faster than the water you're pouring on it. This is why many financially successful people focus heavily on eliminating high-interest debt early. Because once that drain disappears, your money finally starts working for you instead of against you. Your paycheck suddenly has breathing room. Progress becomes visible. And something powerful begins to happen. You start realizing that the real game of money isn't just about saving or investing. It's about removing the obstacles that keep stealing your progress. But even after someone escapes debt, there's another financial fire many people overlook. And this next one is sneaky. Because it doesn't burn loudly. Instead, it quietly limits how big your financial future can become. Now imagine something interesting. Two people both are very responsible with money. Both avoid unnecessary spending. Both save carefully. Both stay out of credit card debt. But after 10 years, their financial lives look completely different. One person is still struggling to move forward. The other is building real wealth. Why? Because of a fire many people ignore. Earning power. Most people focus only on how they spend money. But very few people spend time improving how they earn money. And this difference can completely change someone's financial future. According to data from the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, people with higher skills, certifications, or specialized training often earn significantly more over their lifetime compared to those who stay in low-growth jobs. Sometimes the difference can be hundreds of thousands of dollars over a career. That's not a small gap. That's a completely different financial life. Imagine two lemonade stands. Both kids work hard all day. The first kid sells lemonade for $1 per cup. The second kid learns how to make special lemonade with fresh fruit, cooler packaging, and a nice sign. Now people happily pay $3 per cup. Both kids work the same hours. But one kid learned a better skill, so their stand earns more money. Adults experience the exact same thing in the real world. Some people stay in jobs where their income barely grows for years. Raises are small. Opportunities are limited. And even though they work hard, their income stays almost the same. Meanwhile, others invest time into learning new skills, certifications, technology, or better career opportunities. Suddenly their income jumps. Not because they work 3 times harder, but because their earning power increased. And here's the emotional reality many people feel in this stage. When income stays low, every financial goal feels heavy. Saving feels slow. Investing feels impossible. Big dreams like buying a house or retiring comfortably feel far away. So people often focus only on cutting expenses. No coffee. No vacations. No fun spending. But there's a limit to how much someone can cut. You can only shrink expenses so much. But income has much bigger potential to grow. And once income begins growing, everything else becomes easier. Saving grows faster. Investing becomes possible. Debt disappears quicker. Financial stress starts shrinking. This is why many financially successful people treat learning and skill building like an investment. Sometimes the best investment isn't the stock market. Sometimes it's yourself, your skills, your knowledge, your career opportunities. Because when your income grows, your financial house becomes much stronger. But even people with strong incomes can still face a major hidden risk. One unexpected event can wipe out years of financial progress overnight. And that brings us to the next financial fire, the one most people don't think about until it's too late. Now imagine this situation. Everything in your financial life is finally going well. You're working hard. Your income has improved. You paid off your high-interest debt. You even started saving some money. For the first time, things feel stable. But then something unexpected happens. You get injured. Or you face a serious health issue. Or your home is damaged by a storm. Suddenly bills start piling up, not hundreds of dollars, but thousands. And this is where the fourth financial fire quietly appears. Lack of protection. Many people focus on earning, saving, and investing, but forget one critical part of financial stability: protection. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, medical costs are one of the leading causes of personal financial stress in the United States, even for people who believe they were financially stable. And it's not just medical issues. Car accidents, natural disasters, job loss, unexpected events are part of life. No one plans for them. But financially successful people prepare for them. Imagine a kid building a sandcastle on the beach. He spends hours making it bigger and stronger. Beautiful towers. Perfect walls. Everything looks amazing. But he forgets one small thing. The ocean tide is coming. When the waves arrive, the entire sandcastle washes away. Now imagine another kid building the same sandcastle. But before the tide comes in, he builds a small protective wall around it. When the waves hit, the wall slows the water down. The castle survives. That protective wall is exactly what financial protection does in real life. Things like health insurance, basic life insurance for families who depend on you, disability coverage, and emergency planning act like shields around your financial progress. Without them, one serious event can wipe out years of hard work. And emotionally, this stage matters more than people realize. Because when people know they are protected, something powerful happens. They feel peace of mind. They can focus on building their future instead of constantly worrying about worst-case scenarios. And here's something interesting. Many people skip this step completely. They jump straight from earning money directly into investing. But investing without protection is like driving a car at high speed without wearing a seatbelt. Everything feels fine, until something goes wrong. Once protection is in place, though, your financial house becomes stable. The fires that destroy most people's progress are finally under control. And now, something exciting happens. For the first time, your money is free to do something powerful. Not just survive. Not just protect. But grow. And that's where we finally arrive at the stage most people are excited about. The stage where wealth actually begins to build. Now imagine your financial house again. The small emergencies no longer scare you because you have savings. High-interest debt is no longer draining your paycheck. Your income is growing because your skills improved. And you've placed basic protection around your life so one bad event doesn't destroy everything. For the first time, your financial house is calm and stable. No smoke. No flames. No panic. And this is the moment when investing finally becomes powerful. Because now, every dollar you invest actually has time and space to grow. This is the stage where wealth begins. According to long-term data from the S&P 500, the U.S. stock market has historically returned about around 10% per year on average over many decades. Of course, markets go up and down in the short term, but over long periods they have grown with the economy. This growth is powered by something very simple but incredibly powerful. Time. Imagine a kid named Emma. Emma plants a small apple seed in her backyard. On day 1, nothing happens. After a few weeks, still nothing exciting. But Emma keeps watering the soil. Months later, a tiny plant appears. Years later, that plant becomes a tree. And eventually that tree produces hundreds of apples every season. The seed was small. But time and patience turned it into something powerful. Investing works very much the same way. You plant money into things like index funds, retirement accounts, or long-term assets. At first it looks slow. The numbers move a little. Nothing dramatic happens. And many people quit during this stage because they expected instant results. But the real magic of investing is something called compound growth. Money earns returns. Then those returns start earning returns too. And over time the snowball gets bigger and bigger. For example, if someone invests $600 every month starting at age 25, and earns an average long-term return near the historical market average, they could potentially have over $1 million by retirement age. Not because they were lucky. Not because they picked perfect stocks. But because they started early and stayed consistent. And here's the key idea. Investing works best when your financial life is already stable. Because then you don't panic during market drops. You don't sell investments to pay emergency bills. You allow time to do its job. That's when wealth begins quietly building in the background while you live your life. But before we end this video, there's one final idea that ties everything together. And understanding this idea might completely change how you think about money for the rest of your life. Let's go back to the image we started with. A house on fire. If flames are spreading through the rooms, nobody talks about decorating the living room. Nobody worries about which color the curtains should be. The only priority is simple. Put out the fires first. Money works the exact same way. Many people believe the secret to wealth is finding the perfect investment. The best stock. The fastest growing crypto. The hottest real estate deal. But the real secret is much simpler and much less exciting. Build a strong financial house first. Because when your financial foundation is weak, even good investments can fail you. An emergency forces you to sell. Debt drains your progress. Low income limits how much you can invest. Lack of protection wipes out years of savings. And suddenly people say something heartbreaking. Investing doesn't work. But the truth is, investing didn't fail. The foundation was never stable. Imagine two kids planting money trees. The first kid plants a seed in dry, cracked soil and forgets to water it. The second kid prepares the soil, removes rocks, waters the ground, and protects the plant. Both planted the same seed. But only one tree grows strong. The difference wasn't the seed. It was the environment around it. Your financial life works exactly the same way. Savings create stability. Removing destructive debt stops the leaks. Growing income gives your future power. Protection shields everything you've built. And once those pieces are in place, investing becomes the tree that quietly grows over time. Now here's the motivating truth I want you to remember. You don't need to be born rich. You don't need to be a financial genius. And you definitely don't need to predict the next big stock. What you need is order. Fix problems in the right order. Strengthen your financial house step by step. And give your money the time it needs to grow. Because wealth is rarely built through one lucky decision. It's built through many small, smart decisions repeated for years. So if you ever feel behind in your financial journey, remember this. You're not late. You're just building your foundation. And the stronger that foundation becomes, the taller your financial future can grow.